Hey Casey, let's take a look at your revision here. Here's the amount of swings from 12 to 8, so let's see that. Great, yeah, it feels a lot less busy at the end. Like it definitely settles really well. Yeah, that looks good. The only thing with this is that maybe I didn't point this out in your original assignment, but well, I'd like you to try something if you have time. If not, I mean, this looks really good, and I wouldn't worry about it too much, but I feel like this swing could go out a little bit more. Right now it's almost a little too even with the swing opposite it, like in the swing right here. And yeah, I mean, overall, like the swings, like I said, they work pretty well. So if you have time, I'd say try it and just see if that messes things up, then don't worry about it. But it just feels like it could go a little bit further out. But the timing now looks really good overall. Especially between like as it goes out from here at 25 over across, like that looks really nice. So yeah, I think that's maybe like what's making me want it to go a little bit further, is just because it could maybe even ease in and ease out a little bit longer through there. But again, I mean, overall, you have the concept down, and that's what works. So if you don't have the time to do that, I wouldn't worry about it. We can move on, and you'll learn more as you go through into other assignments and everything. So, but overall, great job. Okay, let's look at flatten down his left foot. Yeah, I think that looks good. Now, I might be a little worried that this is too straight, and it's again a really small note. But the only reason I say that is because we have these lines here that are very straight. You see how like that's almost, it almost feels like it's part of that symmetry. And now that's what I'd want to break it up a little bit. So maybe even just like by moving the foot back, just like the smallest amount to where we're getting a pose more like this. Like that would help that. But otherwise, yeah, it looks good. So great job there. It's a really nice pose. Okay. Taylor assignment. Good. Okay. So overall, the tail and the way you're getting overlap on the tail, like that's working really well. I think that you're grasping that concept, and that's what's really important. Now, I love the overall scene. I love how this is coming together, and I think that for the most part, each beat works pretty well. So you have like this beginning part where you see the Taylor sees the acorn and is going after it, and there's this big jump. But I feel like the weight of the actual ball could be refined a little bit more. So let's go over that. And so that first jump. So this, I would want some sort of anticipation before that. Now, and what I mean is like you have the anticipation when the squash, and that's fine, but some anticipation before that. So like maybe like a little up and then a little bit down. Like maybe it just signifies that your character sees that acorn and is gonna go after it, and so there's like, it's not just like totally motionless right there. The tail looks great there, But I would maybe even like amplify that, because I just noticed now that there's a little bit of a wag there. And so I would say make that bigger, make that like, not crazy, but make it to where the audience was going to see that, and we understand, oh yeah, that's your character is anticipating that move and it's going into that jump. I don't think you need the tail to go up quite so much. Like, I feel like that's a little bit unnecessary. But let's go into, right now, let me just go into the ball, what the ball is doing. So yeah, like just a little bit up anticipation. Just down anticipation is great. It looks really good. It stops, let's see, that's good. Good timing there. I think where the timing is a little bit abrupt is right here. And so what we want to think about with this is, overall, this is just like a ball bouncing. When it gets to here, this is where we're going to have the ease ins and ease outs. And right now, it feels like once your character is in the air, like that timing is, okay. It's almost like it's stuck. And the reason why is because you go to that contact and you go to that contact a little bit too, like there's a little bit too much time between this squash and this stretch. Like there's 1, 2, 3, 4 frames. Whereas you can go from that to this pose to a stretch to that, basically. Maybe even a little bit more. I really like that you're keeping the squash and stretch toned down, but for this sort of contact and that sort of move, I feel like you could push it a little bit more, and maybe even thinking about how that art goes across. So even with this, as it's going out of that jump, you keep it along that axis. So, and then it starts to even out there. Great job on the contact on the landing here. That looks really good. But yeah, I think it's really a matter. You know what? I think this timing and spacing is okay, as long as it's really just a matter of like that. There's just a little bit too many frames going from there to there, and so that's making it feel like your character is kind of like magically popping off the ground. So that's where I'd be careful with that. And then, so for the next one, this next jump, we want to connect that motion, and you're doing a pretty good job of it. Like that looks pretty good. Go into this area. Like that looks really good as it goes in and out of that. But again, it might just be a few too many frames in there. In fact, that's what it is. It's just a few too many frames to where it feels like it's like that squash and that rolling across is really good, but it doesn't need to take that many frames to go into that squash. And usually what I see in students' work is the opposite. Like there's not enough frames in between that squash and stretch, or that contact isn't there at all, and it goes from like contact to squash. So I like that you're thinking about that. It's just like you can compress that time and make it a little bit snappier, and so it doesn't feel so stuck on the ground. And that jump is really good. But yeah, same sort of thing. Just make this whole move quicker. And then this landing, same thing. It goes from that. I would take out these 2 frames and just have it go maybe like to that, and then take out that. Let's see, take out this frame and that frame, and just go to that frame. So it's snappier as it goes into that jump. You want these little jumps to be as snappy as possible. Sometimes even these little tiny jumps don't need that contact frame if they're really like sudden. But the way you have it, I think it's enough. Like it's really good to see that contact frame in there. It just needs to be a little snappier. And then this one is good, but this is the one I would want to like really go over the top with. And you know, maybe even have your character jump like as high as this, like to where it's almost cartoony, to where it's like it goes up and there's that exaggeration, and then we see maybe like the tail going back and forth as it goes down and then straightens out. So you're just getting like this bigger move of like, okay, I'm going after it, and it's like, you know, Geronimo, that sort of thing, where it's just like I'm going in after it, and there's that big jump and that tail wagging through there. But yeah, that's good. Oh, there's one thing I was going to say about the tail back here. Here, yeah, you don't really need that. You can have it here, and then maybe go just like that. And down. And just say like this is where that jump starts. So like where this frame is right here in frame 37. So I just drew it quick to show like that sort of timing will work. We could be snappier. I just kind of drew it in the wrong place, in the wrong timing. Let me know if you have any questions about that. But basically what I'm saying is like that move can happen. It doesn't have to be such a big, broad move. It can be just like a little tail snap, and it can happen right before, like right as your character is jumping. So, and you're reducing those frames anyway in that context, so it'll make sense once you move them over there. But overall, I mean, this is looking really good. You brought it together pretty well, and you're on the right track with everything. So great job. Let me know if you have any questions. All right, thanks, Casey.